All right, welcome to the weekly wrap-up, a fun afternoon podcast with a few Tasmanian beers and real estate agents. I've got two agents with me here today. I've got Martin Evans and Patrick Berry. Say g'day, guys.
G'day, guys.
G'day, guys.
That doesn't really help, boys.
G'day, Aaron. How you going, mate?
Oh, I'm very well. I've had a very busy week, so...
I think we've all had a bit of a busy week.
Yeah.
All different things, which has been fun.
Yeah, I thought we could just kind of sit around today and talk about our weeks and wrap it up over a beer and just see what comes out.
You had me sold a beer, so I was pretty happy with that.
Well, I know you've been dying to play with your toys all week.
Pretty much. Well, we spent all week building this awesome setup that we've got now and just wanted to use it.
I wish we had a camera set up on this because it looks fantastic.
I'm sure we can put some photos up later to brag.
It just all depends on the quality of the output afterwards. We might get 5 minutes in and realise we're no good at this. And
really hard to wrap up.
And then we've got to send it back.
It's all right. You start from the bottom, you can only go up.
That's exactly right. That's true. But said you had a busy week, Marty. What's been happening?
Yep. I've had a great week. Put a new listing on Monday night. Now I'm sitting on some multiple offers on it, which good offers. So I'm expecting to be signed off on by Saturday afternoon.
So you said it went up this week, and you've already got multiple offers, not just one.
Yeah. Monday night at the end of the day, I launched it. So sitting on multiple offers and. We've still got an open home to go on Saturday, tomorrow. I've had a bit of feedback as well from other people that are keen to go through and keen on the property.
So the Mercury had an article this week saying that the market's slowing down. That seems like a contradiction to what you've just explained. How do you feel?
Look, there's no doubt the market has slowed down, but at the same time, I think properties in perhaps a slightly lower price bracket here in the northern suburbs, I'm certainly still getting a lot of inquiries for that particular property. So perhaps the properties in the higher price bracket, there is some substance there. However, those ones in we'll call it a middle price bracket, they are still getting lots of inquiries and it's still going quite well. The affordable properties are still selling, as you know too, Pat. They're still selling with still lots of buyers for them.
Well, that's it. I had one property this week with 2 offers on it and both were really good offers. So there's definitely signs that there's plenty of buyers still out there. So
definitely, yeah.
There may be signs in that dearer price range that it's quietening up a bit, but I think it's still kicking along all right in the northern suburbs and the slightly cheaper ranges.
I think you're spot on. I think one thing to watch is where agents and vendors just in recent times were asking perhaps a little bit more than what the property is worth, and getting that because of such demand on these sorts of properties. But now that seems to have tightened. You really need to be a lot closer with that price range in your market. But if you do that, then you're going to achieve.
As a layman who's not really, like you guys are the professionals and I work in another field in the industry, how do you find that bracket? Like you're saying that it could be too high or people are getting a bit greedy and biting off more than the property's worth. What do you guys do to make it?
I think I know what Aaron's trying to say, Marty. I think what he's trying to get at is how do we figure out what a property's worth and how do we not overprice the property?
That's exactly what. Yeah,
yeah, I can read your mind.
Yeah, thanks, mate. You're helping me out.
I'm on the same tram. Do you want me to go first? For me, personally, it comes down to you have certain areas that are certain. We call them certain markets. Let's just say, for a perfect example, a typical suburb that's quite popular. We'll just pick Claremont. You've got your home that perhaps was built in the 70s. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. Its size is around 120 square metres. It's perhaps its last update, kitchen, bathroom work, that sort of thing, might have been done 20 years ago, still in half reasonable condition. Something around the high 2s and low 3s is about where that property is. Going back 12 months, we might have been able to sell that for, using it at an advertised price of offers over, then it comes down to what a purchaser is prepared to pay, and you can, with some buyer competition, you can push that price up quite significantly. Now, these days, you really do need to keep it within that market. So that's one example, and that's where I consider that particular market to be in the high 2s to low 3s.
Yep.
And that's similar to all other markets. But at the same time, in that area, you might have a larger house that's modern with great views and all that sort of thing. So, of course, that steps outside that typical market.
And you guys...
Lots of variance.
Yeah, and you guys will research prior to going into the properties.
Oh, exactly, yes. So we do a CMA.
What does CMA
a CMA, a current market I can't say it.
Analysis.
Thanks, Pat. Yeah. So a current market analysis we use RP data to do that for us.
Shout out CoreLogic if you're listening.
Yeah.
There you go. Sponsorship.
Just
bring it on
there. Yeah. So what that does is that it monitors local market trends, but at the same time it grabs data from properties that have recently sold in that area.
Yep.
Similar properties.
Yeah, sure.
Ones that are recently sold and ones that are currently on the market. And uses that to work out, where the market is for that property.
Yeah, so that's a big tool that you guys will use prior to going in and appraising a property.
It's certainly not the only thing we use, but it's definitely
for me. Yeah, I use that obviously as well. But another thing that I do that's slightly different, Mighty might do it as well. We call it the Spencer sums. Reference to an old agent that used to work with us many years ago. And Spencer's philosophy was always about looking at a property's government valuation and then what other properties in the area sold for versus their government valuation. So to give you an example, all homes might have a government valuation set at similar times.
Yep.
And we look at a house in the area might have had a GV of 250,000 but sold for 290,000. So we work out how much over the government valuation that property sold for. And you'll tend to find that there's normally a trend right across the suburbs. So it might be 1.5 times the government valuation or 1.2 times the government valuation. But you'll tend to see, it doesn't matter if it's a 2-bedroom unit or if it's a 3-bedroom or a 5-bedroom house, they all tend to have a similar same percentage above their GV. And then once we've figured out the average, we apply that to the home that we're going to and their government valuation, and it gives us a pretty good indicator as to where the property might sit in the marketplace. So that's another way we can just sort of double check our CMA and our CoreLogic data. We're trying to get 2 reports that show similar stories.
Yep.
So when we go and talk to a vendor, we feel pretty confident.
So is this Spencer Sums? I think I've met the guy you're talking about.
You have. You actually did the photos.
We did the photos for his house, yeah. So is that something everybody has access to? Is that something?
It is. I don't know if other agencies do it or not, and they probably have a different name for it.
Okay, so it's just something that you guys have penned the Spencer Sums.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool. I like that. Yeah.
It comes from the list and they're good hard figures.
Yeah. No, I just wasn't sure if this was... I was like, we're giving away the trade secrets of Spencer's.
No, everyone probably does it. We just nicknamed it the Spencer Sums.
No, I like that, yeah.
Spencer gave the theory to me. And
some could say you massage the numbers in the right way.
For anyone that doesn't realise, Spencer left real estate to pursue massaging, so that's where Aaron's little joke's going.
Nice.
Well, just going into the house and taking the photos, everything was looking beautiful. And I'm like, that smells amazing going down this hallway. What's going on in here? And then he's flung the door open. He's this is the massage studio. And I was like, whoo, mate.
That'd be an interesting position to be in,
especially
if he was feeling like giving you a massage.
Yeah, if he wanted the photos to me to be really relaxed as I took and got all his marketing materials ready.
Talking about photos, you've had a bit of a busy week too, though. It's not just working for us at 414, but other jobs as well. Yeah.
Luckily enough, I've picked up some extra work that's just kind of coming through from some email inquiries, a few building companies, Kit Home, and I'm going to butcher the name. I think it was McCain Paul, or a new building company that's trying to get off the ground. I have butchered that there, so maybe we'll have to give them a shout out another time. But yeah, they're both after some marketing materials for their upcoming builds. The Kit Home one was a video testimonial, and that was heaps of fun to do. I met a lovely lady, and we had a little interview. Felt a bit like Andrew Denton.
Nice.
You just become the
a bit like Andrew Denton.
Yeah, no, I felt like Denton. I was like, interview, here we go, let's bring it on. But But yeah, so we did some drone photography for those guys. There was a bit of 3D scanning that took place. So we'll have a few different resources to pass on to those guys and hopefully build some extra jobs from there.
That's what I probably like about 414 Media House. It started off just being photography in-house here for us, but through word of mouth, we've been able to expand it. I think you did a Airbnb a couple of weeks as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a beautiful Airbnb. Actually, these properties were down Margate and this other one was in Eggs and Bacon Bay, which is further down the Huon, which is amazing. So, yeah, been in contact with those guys and I think we'll do a follow-up shoot with those, maybe some nighttime photography and just really, really punch it up. So, yeah, it's amazing the opportunities you get. We've done some stuff for the local community with the BMX, which you're heavily involved with. Your son, actually, you've got to meet this weekend.
I do have a meet this weekend. I'll be at the BMX track both Saturday and Sunday, so I'm actually getting a weekend off real estate for a change. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But luckily I have Marty on the field tomorrow, just doing his bits and pieces. You've got a couple opens?
I got a busy day, yeah. Couple of opens and a couple of private inspections. And
then hopefully finishing off with a signed contract if we're lucky.
The personal inspection that I'm filling in for you for Pat.
Oh, that one would be nice as well.
Oh no, I've pretty much got going back to that the new listing that I've got. Yeah, that's in the bag.
Yeah, it's just,
those offers are going to be accepted. I'd be very surprised if they weren't anyway. So
yeah, cool.
That's the listing you got this week.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
And then we're looking. Another one that I've got. Say, a larger property.
Yep.
Still has a fair bit of interest in it. So yeah, fingers crossed we can get we've got a buyer coming back for a second inspection on that one tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think here at the office it's definitely picked up this month compared to last month. She was a little bit quiet here in the office last month, but talk around the office, all the reps are talking about new listings coming through, which is exciting talk. And I think you've got a couple of bookings already.
Yeah, it's funny how it goes because I was actually just looking through my bookings calendar just probably earlier today, and there's just these kind of spikes in interest. It's really interesting how the market works. Do you guys know, is there any method to the madness of why that happens? Or seems to be there's 2 weeks where I'm kind of just editing away and then I'll have a week of just boom, boom, boom.
It's hard to put your finger on it. Traditionally, things do slow down
leading
in the colder months.
Yep.
They do, and then of course, when you get into spring and summer, and things are looking better, you tend to get a little bit busier. Like a lot of industries, that happens. It's seasonal. However, I don't know. I'm doing a few more appraisals just lately, and they're really keen to get them on the market. Like the one today, only appraised it just a day ago, and we've got the signed agency agreement now, and we've booked the photos in, with you a bit earlier on today. So,
yeah, sure.
And with a couple of others in the pipe as well. Hard to put your finger on it.
Yeah, it's one of those.
And perhaps there's also with the knowledge that yes, the market is softening in other states, and it's coming down to the Hobart market as well. Perhaps people out there that have been thinking about selling are now, thinking a little bit more seriously about getting it on in a shorter time period.
I think I know what it is.
I know Pat had a wry smile the whole time, and I was concentrating on Martin. I was just like, "What's this smile?" He's got something to say, yeah.
And I'm trying really hard not to overtalk. So there.
No, you actually did a really good job because I could see he's like, "Oh, he's got something."
Well, we actually, as a sales team, we have a little secret meeting that you're not aware of, and we're like, "Radio, how are we going to really screw Aaron up this week?" So we're like, "We could do this. Nah, let's hold that back to next week and really put pressure on him."
You like to see the hair start thinning out.
Get that sweat bead going down the
getting
side.
late into the arvo, and will he do it? Will he won't?
If my hair's falling out, yours is going to fall out.
Yeah. And you can't get that pressure of Martin asking you every 3 minutes, "Is my photos ready?
No.
Photos ready?"
Well,
I've been good lately with that.
You actually have been much, much better, I think. Because on Monday when we were trying to get your new listing live,
yes,
you were away.
Yes.
Or you were out on,
yes,
you're doing appraisals and you're out and about. And I said to Pat, I said, Marty's not here. don't feel the pressure I normally do to be like, are they ready? Is the floor plan back? How are we doing?
How's the ETA?
Yeah, what's the video? Can I tell my vendor?
That's why he was so keen to help me do all the podcasting stuff this week, Marty, because he was like, he's not here to pressure me.
We got it up, and it sounds like things are going well for Marty.
Well, Pat, you'd have to agree with me. Sometimes you just need to push to get the best out of, AFL coaches do it. Your bosses do it. When we have our sales meeting, there's a bit of push. There's certain targets that you want to meet, and sometimes you've got to push your way through. So Aaron, that's what I'm trying to say.
What AFL coach would you model yourself after?
Good question. I've not actually, I've not thought of it before.
I've got you on the spot.
Off the top of my head, it's definitely not Alan James because, was he the guy that went, do. Yeah, not him. Probably more of a Kevin Sheedy. I'm a bit of a lateral thinker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bit creative and kind of come up with lots of different ideas.
That's it, yeah.
It makes sense now.
Unprofessional.
Yeah, my phone just rang. That makes sense now. So when Aaron gets those photos up and you shake that jumper around,
I
don't know why you're doing it. So it makes sense.
That's exactly right. Yep.
We can tell that to Deep Burn because that was against West Coast when he did that.
It's
never
all
forget
relative,
that day.
isn't it?
I was 4, but
still hurts. Burns into retinas.
Was that the same sort of game that we were worried about the Seagulls as well? Remember, like he couldn't say umpires.
Oh,
so
yes.
he said Seagulls.
Yeah, I think that might have been what fired him up so much.
Yeah. I remember that post-match interview.
He was quite collected as a man, and he was quite the wordsmith. But that was kind of the swinging of the jacket is very memorable.
He replaced the word umpire with seagull.
Yes,
I think.
He's a clever bloke.
So
you would say Kevin Sheedy would be
Kevin Sheedy style of coaching for sure. Yep.
All right. So when I'm in the trenches, do you look at me kind of like the James Hird of the team, or am I more the Shea Cockatoo Collins, or Matty Lloyd?
Big up to James Hird, but I'd probably see you as more of a Michael Long.
Oh, I'll take that.
You can grab the ball on the halfback flank and drive it through into your Matty Lloyds in the forward line.
I know. How did we turn this into the Bombers?
This real estate show turned into Aaron and Martin talking about their football team. This is ridiculous.
Well, real estate, the industry has coaches.
This is your goal every week, to work Essendon into the pod.
Well, we are performing. We're performing okay at the moment, so I will talk about them. But at the start of the season, I was off them. I was off them big time.
They were rubbish, and I agree.
No, it'll be a big test this weekend. But let's move along. Let's get onto something else. We are ad-libbing today, and the beers are flowing quite good. So you've got open homes, you've got BMX for the weekend. What does next week entail? What are we doing moving forward?
Ooh. Yeah, sure. So I'm working on 3 new listings at the moment. So hopefully I've got one booked in with you, I think. So
I think Tuesday we're doing.
Hopefully the other 2 we can get booked in early in the week, so we can get them up and running by the end, which would be great.
Yep.
In addition to that, still working on a couple of contracts as well, so that's good. And I'm actually launching a new product as well for the 414 rental team. So just working with our branding team at the moment. So
is that under lock and key, or can we elaborate on what you've got there?
Let's face it, probably no one's going to be listening to this first podcast, so I can probably let it out of the bag. And if you're listening, then you get a secret sneak peek.
A sneak peek, yeah, let's do it, sneak peek.
Yeah, sure. So we're launching 414 Help next week, which is going to be really exciting. It's only going to start off with our rental for our tenants.
Yep.
But basically, a tenant will be able to get information directly from our database using an AI robot. And what that will let them do is they can either SMS a certain number or email help@414.com.au, or, which I really like because I'm a Google nerd, is they can actually talk to their Google Home in their house and say, hey, Google, talk to my property manager. And then Google will connect to our database, which is going to be really fun.
Yeah, you were showing me that today. You said you were setting up an account just to test it out and give it a go.
They'll be able to ask general questions like, what's an example? Where's my rent due? How far am I paid up to? When's my next inspection? And then they can actually ask questions relevant to, like, what do I do to perform a lease break? And it'll actually check against Tasmanian legislation and provide correct information back. So...
And so that's all through talking. You're not typing anything in.
Well, that's the beauty of the system. You can talk directly to Google Assistant on your phone, on the Google speakers that you can buy at the shop. Or you can SMS if that's more comfortable to our dedicated helpline.
Yeah, cool.
Or you can email. So as much as I'd love everyone to use voice because I think that's the future, we also understand that you've got to have multiple options so people can use it in the form that they feel comfortable with. But hoping to go live next week with that. So we're just doing testing at the moment and it's nearly ready to go, which is really exciting. So we'll start to roll it out to all our tenants pretty soon, which will be good.
And that's available to anyone. It's not like a premium product or...
No. So anyone that rents through us will have access to that. So we want to make sure that tenants can get the answers to their questions when they want to ask them, not within business hours, because obviously we love talking to our tenants on the phone, but people work.
Yeah.
If they don't get home to 5 or 6 o'clock at night, it's harder to get hold of a property manager at that time of day because they obviously have their own lives outside of work as well. So the ability to ask an AI robot in the middle of the night, when's my next routine inspection?
Yeah.
And the robot can go check our database, see what time it's scheduled for, what day it's scheduled for, and come back straight away with an answer, I think will really help streamline that process for tenants.
I'm not sure if this... What about maintenance or anything like that? Is that something... Can they report?
Yes, they can report maintenance. At this stage, though, because we're still beta testing, so at this stage they'll report it and the AI robot will send the maintenance issue straight through to the property manager that is looking after that particular tenant. We hope that in the near future, depending on what the item is and what owners have allowed us to do automatically, the AI robot can just go
pass along the line.
Yeah, so if it's a plumbing issue and it's emergency, the AI robot, if it's got authorization to do so from the owner, could just go straight to the plumber that we use, book it in, get the plumber out there without us needing to do anything.
That's incredible.
Isn't it? That's amazing.
It's gonna be cool. Yeah,
That's
fantastic.
That's not putting the property management staff at risk. There's still plenty of work for them to do, it sounds like.
No, well, what it's going to do, hopefully, is allow our property management team to have a little bit more time so they can focus on their individual staff and work with their properties and make sure that we are managing them to a top level.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, what you're doing is you're creating an opportunity for the property managements to deliver quality service.
Take a load off of what they're doing.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, how about that? I mean, and what are normal working hours these days? That's really blurred these days. Yeah. So
well, that's it. AI robot is not designed to replace a staff member on our role. Like, we're not trying to minimise staff and get rid of them and replace them with robots. Robots are fantastic for doing the mundane tasks, but the property managers still need it there for the report and for the building of the business. So we're just trying to reposition our staff to do more productive jobs rather than just
doing
the tedious little jobs like a tenant calls up and wants to know when their next inspection is, and the property manager's there. They've then got to ring them back, and we manage a lot of properties. If we've got to do that, 30 times a week or write 30 emails with an answer, if we can minimise those,
it all adds up.
Yeah, it all just adds up to extra time. So we're just trying to create basically an assistant that helps streamline the work, and the tenant doesn't want to wait. If they send us an email at 6 o'clock at night, my girls don't get back to them until 9 the next morning. Well, wouldn't it be great if the AI can give it to them in 3 minutes?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Or everything's instant.
Seconds, yeah, so that's what it's all about. It's not about trying to make a job disappear. It's about enhancing the position so we can get more done and offer a better service.
Yeah, cool.
Wow, that sounds like it's going to keep you busy for most of next week.
Yeah, should be pretty fun, but that's part of the fun of doing sales and marketing and everything in between.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But should be good. I'm looking forward to it. So Cassie, our graphic artist, has just sent back the proofs for the first lot of marketing for it. So, once we've got it all sorted, we should hopefully go live next week with it all, if fingers crossed everything goes to plan.
Great news.
And what about you, Marty? What's your week looking like next week?
Next week I've got a couple of, I don't know how many I've got. I've got a couple of settlements going on towards the end of the week, so there'll be, a few pre-settle inspections and that sort of thing.
Yep.
A few cuddles with vendors and purchasers by the end of the week. But I've got that new listing in Lutana that will be getting done during the week, and a couple of new listings in the pipe as well that I'll be working on. So
sorry to butt in. Just in regards to that Lutana one, I thought it's worthwhile noting as well that if you are looking to buy a property in the market at the moment, get on our database, because this Lutana property is not going to be on any of the major websites for probably another week to 10 days.
Yep.
Yet we've already actually started emailing people about this property, and Marty sent out a couple hundred emails last night, didn't you? Or 140 or 60 or something?
Average it out to about 150 emails.
And we've had quite a great response.
Yeah, had a really good response overnight and today.
Yeah, so it's just worth noting that instead of ringing up and finding out all the time, oh, that property's under offer, sorry, it's just got signed, get on a few databases, be it ours, be it one of our competitors around the place, because that can really help you get a foot in the door early.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, look, my opinion on that is, yes, back in the day, you didn't really want to get on a database because of the spam that you'd receive and all that sort of thing. However, in this day and age and in this market, and with properties being snapped up so quickly, you've got to get on a database. You've got to get in the door early. And you know, I know I can speak for ourselves. We use our database. We work it hard, and we make sure that everyone on our database is notified straight away. So you know, definitely worth doing it.
So, just as a quick, like, how do you get onto it? I know that sounds silly, but just from a layman, how do I go about doing that, guys?
For instance, it can happen from a phone call, from an email, from an open home inspection, from a private inspection.
Our website has direct link to be able to fill out.
So I'd go onto the
Exactly.
website,
Yes.
I'd plug in
Of course.
my email address or something, and then I'm going to get a preview to some properties that are going to
That's right.
that
Well,
won't hit the market.
You give us an idea of what type of property you're looking for, and you know, and what your budget is, and all that sort of thing. We put that into our database. It puts together a match for you.
Yep.
And whenever so it'll send you out what we have, and all future listings, as soon as they are up and in our system, you get sent that notification with those as well. So you get in nice and early.
Yep.
But in saying that, though, that's fantastic. But at the same time, like, for instance, what I did last night before this one actually hit the market, I used the database that way as well. So people can have a bit of a preview.
It's a worthwhile reward for
earnest preview, before it
plugging your
everyone
email
else sees
address
it.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, people get worried about spam and about being constantly bombarded by agents annoying them. We're really simple. If you find a place and you've bought it, just let us know. That's all you need to do. Like, just say, hey, thanks, Patrick, but I don't need your services anymore.
Yep.
And we'll update the database so you stop getting our emails. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
we're not here to
Yep.
bother people or to pester them. We're trying to provide information and help people out. And the moment that is no longer relevant to you because you've bought a house, all we need is a quick email or a quick phone call to say, hey, thanks very much for everything, but I'm done. I
Yep.
found a place, and we'll remove you straight out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. There's half a dozen of the guys today. That's exactly what they were saying. Look, you know, thanks for that, keeping us in the loop. However, we've purchased, and for whatever reason, you know,
And that helps us keep our database up to date as well.
It keeps our database clean, which is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, it sounds really good. Well, boys, I think my beer's empty here. It looks like Pat's probably is too.
And
Mine
mine won't
hasn't
take.
touched his.
Mine take.
Talk too much.
Is your mouth a bit dry, mate?
I'm parched.
Well, we might depart the studio, but yeah, it's been an interesting week. It sounds like we've got interesting weeks ahead. Good luck at the BMX this weekend, Pat.
Thanks very much. Looking forward to it.
Marty, good luck with your open homes.
Thank you very much,
Sounds
Aaron.
like
Looking
things should
forward
go
to
pretty
those
well.
too. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, well, that was the weekly wrap-up here at 414. Thanks for listening. And
Are we
Yeah.
going to do it again next week?
I'd like to do it again next week.
Great. So
Maybe we could try a different beer next week. Maybe we could just kind of...
We could morph that into the Friday night
Yeah.
wrap up. We can
Or-
perhaps do a quick little.
we can use the same beers next week because we never told anyone today what we were drinking. So
there you go.
mystery.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to
did-
sign us off there, Marty. That's it. Game over time. I'm steamrolling through.
Yeah. Sure. Well, no. Thanks for having me, gentlemen. Yeah, it's been great.
No, it's been a fun.
Love the concept.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We'll stick with it. All right. Thanks,
very
guys.
much.
414 Real Estate has been operating within the northern suburbs of Hobart since 2006. With their innovative approach to marketing and managing your property, they have all your property needs covered. Find out more by visiting them today at 414.com.au.